Welcome back to the Sudden But Inevitable podcast. As usual, I'm Eamon, and joining me is Chris. How you doing?
Pretty well yourself?
I'm alright. So, this year has seen the release of several Stephen King properties, adaptations of his work. We've had The Dark Tower, not so good. Last week's It, which is excellent. We've had the Mist TV show. We've got Gerald's Game coming out in a few weeks. I believe there's another one later in the year. It's kind of been the year of Stephen King.
Yeah, they're trying to set up the Stephen King cinematic universe.
Which is something that kind of already exists in his books.
Yeah, it's the Stephen King bookomatic
universe.
Yeah,
it's very strange. But like they've been adapting his stuff for... I think Carrie was the first one in 1978. So well over 30 years. Of adaptations. We've had everything from Arnold Schwarzenegger action films to, The Mist set in one location, some creepy beasties. So this week we're going to be talking about Stephen King. We'll also be pitting Carrie against the Men in Black and throwing the kids from It into the Mist. But first, the news.
Now, we have some fantastic news because it's been so long since we've done a podcast. So what's your favourite piece of news?
Well, I think the big news is It has a $117 million opening weekend, I believe in the US alone, which is the biggest opening for a horror movie ever in the history of horror movies. So I think that's a good sign. Horror movies tend to be pretty crap these days. They tend to be pretty cookie cutter. The big opening means hopefully people will see, horror movies can be done well. They can be scary, so let's actually try and make them good. The good ones do make money.
See, I don't think the trailer helped it at all, or at least the first couple.
I think...
Because it looked like the most generic movie, like Hollywood blockbuster horror.
In some ways it is, but I think that's just because the idea has been around since the 80s, so it kind of is the generic Hollywood blockbuster. Fortunately, they don't put a whole lot of that King weirdness in it. We'll get more into that later. There's not a whole lot of out there-ness yet. The second part is coming in 2019, where they come back as adults to fight the creature 30 years later. So that will be, I think the first one happens in the 80s, so it would happen modern day. We could get more of the weird... Spoiler alert, It is a spider. It's like this weird interdimensional spider, and I really hope they don't do that.
Yeah. Although, part of me loves seeing these Hollywood movies actually take the weird ideas from the things they were based on and actually do them. But
that's so out there, and there's it's just it's a spider, big spider that fights a giant turtle. It's weird. That's a bit too much.
Looking forward to 2019.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting year.
We also have a new trailer.
Yes.
One that I have been looking forward to since I think we've both been looking forward to it a bit.
Yeah.
But since we saw the wonderful Disaster Artist teaser trailer a few weeks ago with James Franco in the best scene from The Room because it was the worst scene from The Room. Yeah.
I don't think it's the worst scene from The Room. I think the worst scene is the shop scene. It's hi doggy, you're my favourite customer.
There's the flower shop scene. There's the scene that starts so early.
Worst scene in the movie is just
the runtime. But there's the scene where the guy starts making his O face a minute early.
It's such.
There's Tommy Wiseau.
There's Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah. I noticed on my last watch through of The Room that, on all of them really, but Tommy, when in the sex scenes, is aiming incredibly high. And this trailer actually makes a mention of it. Let's take a look.
Los Angeles, everybody wants to be star. You have to be the best. and never give up.
When I get up on stage in front of people, all I can think about is, what if they laugh at me? You, man, you're fearless. I want to feel that too.
I don't care. I'll do it. You and me, we both have this dream.
Yeah, I guess we do.
That we'll be famous. We'll show them. Watch out, here we come. To be or not to be.
It's not gonna happen for you. Not in a million years.
But after that, this town, Greg, they don't want me.
Wish we could just make our own movie.
That great idea. So there's this guy, Johnny, a true American hero, to be played by me. He has it all. Good luck, many friends, and also maybe Johnny is vampire. We'll see.
This set of the alleyway looks exactly like the real alleyway.
That's right.
Well, why don't we just shoot in the real alleyway?
Because it's a real Hollywood movie.
No? Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Action!
I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
But it doesn't work if you're looking at the camera.
And then this beautiful girl, anything for my princess. She betrayed him. And then this guy, Johnny, he go crazy. Nobody respect my vision. You are a villain. I do this whole movie for you, Greg. You are tearing me apart, Lisa.
Cut.
Why you cut, Sandy? This is great. This is real acting.
If you're gonna writhe around with the dress, maybe do it before you shoot yourself in the head and blow your brains out.
I disagree.
You're really gonna make this thing?
We are going to go together.
Tommy, this is not necessary.
No, very necessary. I need to show my ass to sell this movie.
I think you're aiming a little bit.
I am what I am. Just do the scene.
Why is he having sex with her belly button? He knows where her vagina is, right?
Hi, doggy.
That ending bit with Seth Rogen and the belly button thing.
Yeah, that is. I mean, I don't know about that trailer. I think it looks like the parts where he's being Tommy Wiseau in the movie look good, but the parts where he's being Tommy Wiseau out of the movie look crap.
I watched a few interviews, and it doesn't seem like they're doing some dumb story that you won't care about because it ends happily. I mean, it doesn't end happily. It ends with the room. So I would, keep the faith, but I feel like most of the movie will be about the filming of the movie anyway.
But yeah, it seems like there's something happening in real life that's like influencing the movie. And I think if they try to get anything emotional out of it through James Franco, who is as emotional as the copious amounts of weed he always appears to be smoking,
but
it's not going to turn out great.
But also, I don't think Tommy has emotions.
Well, I think he does. I mean, have you seen that? She's tearing him apart, Lisa. You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
Yeah.
That's not emotion. I don't know what is.
Actually, I found a channel by Machinima. So it's a 5-year-old channel or something. But it's called The Tommy Y Show. And so it starts with Tommy appearing in this spaceship. And there's an alien on the screen who he's talking to. And the alien's voice is way more human than Tommy's. And so the alien makes him play all these Let's Plays and kidnaps him on a regular basis. And in the Christmas special, which was the finale, I think Justine is there. And he hits on her a few times and then is like, I'm sorry.
It's very strange.
He's not even acting, I'm pretty sure, for the most part. I think maybe they actually told him, an alien's actually kidnapping you right now. But yeah, it's tremendous seeing Tommy Wiseau play games. It's the best thing on YouTube.
Yeah, I might have to check that out.
Yeah.
In other news, we have a new director for the 9th Star Wars film. Colin Trevorrow, who you might know as the director of Jurassic World, dropped out thanks to creative differences with Disney. So they're bringing back the most bland Steven Spielberg knockoff ever, J.J. Abrams.
Wonderful.
And something I found out was that movie has the same writer as that masterfully written film Batman vs Superman. I don't have a backyard, but if I had a backyard, I would go out to my backyard and I would dig a grave and I would put a little piece of paper in there that says Star Wars and I would bury it because it's dead.
Oh, Star Wars died a long time ago.
I wouldn't say it died. Like there's a chance for them to bring it back. I think the Obi-Wan movie that they announced a couple of weeks back could be good. It was starring Ewan McGregor between 3 and 4. That could be all right. I think Disney really needs to let go a bit more though.
Yeah.
It seems that they lost directors with Han Solo as well for the same creative differences, which, from my understanding, means Disney said, we must have this, and the director was like, no, that sucks. And so they fired them.
They seem awful protective of their image for a company that is, like, there's a phrase, Disney racism, old school Disney racism. And if they can recover from people talking about hardcore racism as Disney racism, then they can recover from anything.
But yeah, I think they just kind of need to let it loose. Just say, my ideal thing would be just them give the license to different directors, Guillermo del Toro, Steven Spielberg, Terrence Malick, all these different people, and let them just make their own Star Wars movie.
So the same thing as you suggested for the Marvel movies.
No, because I feel like the Marvel movies work, telling a story.
Yeah.
But the Star Wars movies don't need to tell a new story. They can just each be their own individual thing.
And if we're going to have movies for Han Solo, and in future I'm sure there will be more about Obi-Wan before Phantom Menace.
Yoda, whatever.
Yeah, everyone's going to have a movie.
I think they got them planned till 2020 or something. So
yeah, and then it's not going to end ever. So,
No.
if we're going to have all these movies, hand them off.
I feel like
people
they really got to let it go, because otherwise it's just going to be all the same.
Yeah, but they've got the potential to tell some really gritty stories, but then it's Disney.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's why I feel like they should just sell the license to people. So they own it, but they don't get the final say in it. So, if Quentin Tarantino wants to do a Star Wars movie, let him do a Star Wars movie.
Now that would be the best.
It would be.
Anyway, what else do we have in the news?
We have our first image of Rami Malek, who you may know from Mr. Robot, or from where I know him, not at the museum.
Yes.
As Freddie Mercury. He is playing Freddie in a Queen biopic. I believe it's about the lead up to a particularly big concert, and he died before the concert. He's going to be singing with Freddie's vocals mixed in with his or something. I think he looks the part.
Yeah.
Based on this picture anyway, we can't really see a lot of his face. But I think he looks like Freddie, but,
First pictures are terrible. I don't know why. But anyway, it does, he looks the part, surprisingly.
Yeah. Whether or not he'll be able to pull it off, I mean, he's a very weird actor.
Yeah.
Freddie is a very weird guy.
Yeah.
Might work, might not. He doesn't have as much hair as Freddie. That much is apparent. But certainly going to be interesting.
The concert I want to see a movie made about is This Is It, Michael Jackson's concert. Why did he decide to name his concert This Is It and then die?
The Illuminati, man. They got their fingers in everything. I mean, they did do a Michael Jackson movie.
Called This Is It.
No, Moonwalker.
Oh.
Moonwalker. About this guy who's like obsessed with spiders or something, and he's giving kids drugs, and Michael Jackson turns into a giant robot and then a spaceship.
Michael Jackson.
It's a strange movie.
Michael Jackson is a strange artist.
He
I
was.
say is because he's still putting out stuff somehow.
He's not dead, man.
Yeah, man. Who names their final concert This Is It? I feel like it's too much of a coincidence that no one talks about.
Well, I'm sure they talked about it back when he died in, 2011? I don't know when Michael Jackson died. I only found out he died. Yes, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. And then the other bit of news, Daniel Day Kim, who you're a fan of, as Johnny Gat
in the Saints Row series.
He has been cast in the new Hellboy film. He's playing a Japanese character. Originally, the character was cast as the villain from Deadpool, Ed Skrein. And everyone was like, what are you doing? Like, this they talk about whitewashing, and this is literally like casting a Scandinavian-looking guy as a Japanese man. And everybody's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? This is stupid.
Yeah. Well,
And so Ed Skrein himself was like, I didn't realise stepping down. Now they got Daniel Day Kim.
Well, I've seen a couple of things featuring Daniel Day Kim. Couldn't name any of them right now, but he is fantastic.
He seems young for the character, but I think he could pull it off. I imagine he's got like the character's like all scarred up and stuff, so I imagine they're going to have him under a lot of makeup.
We also have some other Hellboy news.
Yes.
I'm not sure how new it is, but there's a photo of...
Oh, of him getting the hand cast?
Him in full Hellboy
Is there?
makeup.
Really?
Yes.
If that's legit, I'm a happy man.
Yeah. Also, it's amazing that he looks like Ron Perlman.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Because Ron Perlman looks like Hellboy. But damn. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm quite excited for this movie. You got David Harbour, Ian McShane, who you might know from John Wick. He is the guy who runs the Continental.
Oh.
He is playing the character that... Jesus! That is wicked. I'm a very excited person right now. He's playing the same character that John Hurt played in the original Hellboy films, which is kind of funny because they were really good friends. So, you know, it's kind of like passing on the torch. Mia Jovovich is playing the villain.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know, I'm not a fan of her acting. But, you know, she could pull it off.
I think so.
The director, Neil Marshall, he said, you know, it's going to be violent, it's going to be brutal. They're going for a practical effects type deal. And I think especially with the success of Deadpool and this year's Logan and now It, you know, because Hellboy is kind of like a horror thing.
Hellboy is definitely R-rated, and this decade has been fantastic for R-rated films. Yeah, so the last 2 years.
I think if they can pull this off, I will be a very happy person. It'd be very easy to screw it up. I think a lot of people are going to be put off if it's really dark, because the Del Toro ones are lighter, more tongue-in-cheek, whereas this one looks much darker. But, you know, it looks like Hellboy, so I'm not complaining. I believe that is it for the news. So now we come to the main focus of this week. The man, the myth, the legend.
Stephen King. Oh, I was going to say Franchise Wars, but I realise we're not at that point yet. But yeah. So,
Stephen King. You've watched some of his movies?
I have. You've got a list of them right there.
I do. What was your favourite one that you watched?
I think Carrie 2013 had an impact on me.
Yeah.
Because I liked the darkness of it, even if they didn't really delve into it as much as some things. And I'm not exactly a let's watch satanic movies sort of guy, but I really enjoyed that. And Carrie's mother, I forget who played her, but she's a phenomenal actress, and she was great in that role.
Yeah. I mean, my favourite one, personally, is The Mist. I just think that's a really solid movie. I like the setting, you know, they're all together, there's the weird creatures. It as well, the new one, is truly the scariest movie since Alien.
Okay. As
far as I'm concerned. Like, I've watched a lot of horror movies and I don't find a lot of them scary, but this movie gets under your skin. And Bill Skarsgård, like, when I first saw the photos of him in the Pennywise costume, it's kind of like, it looks kind of goofy, and it does, but it's also terrifying. It's this really weird thing, like, when you see him on screen, at first it's like, what? And then there's this scene where they open up a fridge, and he's in there, and he's all twisted up, and he, like, unwinds himself, and that's super creepy. And then he just does this goofy walk towards this kid who's, like, screaming his head off, and it's like, should I laugh? Should I cry? I don't know. And it's just really well done. The guy's got the creepiest grin, which I think would make him perfect. They're doing a Joker Origins movie.
Oh!
And I think he's a young guy. He's got this creepy grin. I think he will be perfect for a Joker Origins film.
Yeah, although I don't know that there's many actors out there willing to get typecast as a clown.
Well, they want Leonardo DiCaprio.
What?
I don't see it. But apparently Martin Scorsese is producing that.
Ooh. Oh.
I don't know what's going on with that movie. It's not Jared Leto. They're killing the Jared Leto Joker, which is nice.
Yeah, it's good that they've heard the fans for the first time since they started making this universe.
Because God, he was awful.
But it's amazing how every single movie since Batman vs Superman has been shrouded in mystery. Oh, they're losing directors and they're losing Ben Affleck.
It seems to be in... See, it could be that they're saying it themselves to try and remain relevant. They're like, oh, Ben Affleck is leaving, so everybody starts talking about Ben Affleck as Batman. But at the same time, it could be just that they're so bad that they don't want to stick around anymore.
Yeah.
I really have no idea, but...
Anyway, the DCEU shouldn't exist.
It shouldn't. I think we can all agree on that. Stephen King's movies do exist.
The Mist, you mentioned, has a fantastic ending.
It does. 2007, I think we can spoil it. Came out a decade ago.
Here's your well and truly you've been warned. Skip 5 minutes ahead.
Yep,
or 2 minutes ahead.
I'll put a little thingo in there. Just skip to the time. So, they drive them through the mist and their car runs out of fuel.
They've decided to drive as far as they can, as far as their fuel will get them. And the mist still hasn't run out. So there's the two oldies in the back, the young boy, and the mother of his children. And so they...
And the main guy, Thomas Jane.
Yeah, of course, but... and he's had to make a hard decision. They could go out into the mist and die a horrible death, or he could use the 4 bullets he has for his gun to kill everyone else in the car, and then confront his fate outside. And so it happens. His boy turns to look at him for the final time. You see a shot from outside as 4 bullets fire off and blood fills the car. Not in a goofy horror way. And he steps outside screaming his head off because he's had to kill his family. And then the army arrives.
So good, and the mist starts...
They've got flamethrowers.
Every single time that gets me. Yeah. In the original cut, he didn't know he had 4 bullets left, which I think makes it more impactful.
Oh,
because he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, time to kill myself, click.
Yeah.
Click, click, click. And then he's just freaking out because he's like, oh, balls.
But the soundtrack in that moment makes it.
It's so good.
I read a review about the movie that said that it wouldn't be half as impactful without the soundtrack.
No, the soundtrack is excellent.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly.
But yeah, that the ending of that movie is one of my top endings of all time because it comes out of nowhere. It just kills you. It's really good. And I like the fact that the army guys barely pay any attention. They just they got their job and they just keep walking and he's just sitting there screaming. It's so good. Unlike
the TV show.
Netflix.
Well, it started as a Spike show. And then I think it didn't work out for Spike, so
they aired the first season.
Okay.
And now it's airing on Netflix.
Netflix has its logo.
Yeah, they do that sometimes. It's weird. They do it with The Expanse as well. That's a sci-fi TV show. But they put it down as a Netflix.
Okay.
I don't know.
Weird to know what's a Netflix original anymore. But it's a 10-episode series. People have talked online about Series 2, but I don't know if it would work. I don't know. I don't think that was part of the plan.
There's this, because I believe it ends on a cliffhanger, because it doesn't end the way the movie ends.
I have seen only 4 episodes. I tried to get through it, but after episode 2, I didn't really have much motivation to watch anymore. Although after episode 3, I suddenly did.
Yep.
So to compare them, I don't feel like I've got the whole picture. But at the start, The Mist feels like budget The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to put out a review of it sometime soon.
It's funny you say that, considering that so many actors in the movie The Mist are from The Walking Dead. There's like 3 or 4 of them who are also in The Walking Dead.
But yeah, it's like drama out of nothing. Like people in an apocalyptic scene fighting. And, I hate that genre of film and TV. And, at the start it's too boring to appeal to the lowest common denominator, but too dumb for everyone else. And it feels the need to repeat itself a lot. Like, the second episode starts with 3 different reactions to an event that's just happened.
Yeah.
But they all react the exact same way.
I've only watched the first episode, but even that, I was kind of like, this is not...
Yeah.
Because, they're all in different locations, and, like, what made the movie good was that they're all in the same location. They can't get out, whereas they're in, like, this huge shopping centre, and they're in the church, and they're in the police station. It's kind of like...
Yeah.
Well,
it's where I left it. It was just the mall and the church.
Yeah.
And the church people are moving anyway. Episode 3 kicks it up a notch by having, there's no real monsters in the show, but a fly flies into a man's ear, or an insect flies into a moth. And then he starts breaking open in his back, and he's got a tattoo of a moth. An incredible tattoo for an alien tattoo, and then he gets wings, and
moths explode out of his mouth and he dies.
Yeah, it was... I don't know how to feel about it, because it was quite a cool thing to watch, but it's like, has anyone involved with that seen any other monster movies where something explodes out of someone?
Yeah, you sent me that, and it's very strange, to say the least.
Yeah.
And I think that I feel like it's partly budgetary that they didn't do the monsters, but also I feel like they kind of wanted to be different, which I feel was the mistake.
Yeah. Look, I don't know how it ends. I don't know where it evolves.
Do you want to know how it ends?
Sure.
The government starts sending prisoners in to feed the mist.
Oh.
And
that's a great ending.
Whether or not a second season is confirmed, there isn't one confirmed yet. From what I've seen and from what I've read, I doubt it.
Yeah. So as far as mist things go, if you can watch episode 3 of The Mist without having any context, do it.
Yeah.
Episode 4 is also pretty great, but it gets weird. And I couldn't speak for any of the rest of it. Just watch the movie.
Yeah. I mean, weird is kind of Stephen King's catchphrase. There's a movie called Dreamcatcher, which involves aliens that explode out of people's butts. Kind of like the chest burster, but it's like a butt burster.
Anal alien.
Yeah.
Analian.
Analiens. Yeah, it's very weird.
Analiens is it.
I mean, of course, the book, it has everything from child orgies to flying leeches eating people to the previously mentioned giant spider that is an enemy of a interdimensional turtle. Yeah, Stephen King is not known for writing standard stuff.
No.
There's some weird things out there, for sure. I mean, I read the book Cujo and the movie Cujo. The book is all over the place. It's not a bad book, but there's so much extra stuff. There's a fair plot line. There's a guy trying to hold his advertising business plot line together. There's a thing about a wife and her kid trying to escape their husband while going on holidays. And then, tucked away underneath everything else, is the actual story of the book about this Saint Bernard that goes rabid and attacks people in the town. Which in and of itself is a good idea. But there's so much stuff just piled on top of it.
Yeah.
It was during that time, as well, that King was reportedly a brutal alcoholic and coked out of his mind, so he doesn't remember writing either of them. His taste doesn't seem to have improved. He was asked recently which of his adaptions people should go back and watch, which ones were good, and he said Cell, which came out a few years ago with John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson, which is an interesting idea about, people on their phones get turned into zombies. Terrible movie. Awful. Don't watch it. And Dreamcatcher, which is the one I mentioned before about aliens. So, his taste in film, less than stellar, shall we say. So in the spirit of keeping things weird, we have decided to take some Stephen King franchises and put them together in whatever ways we see fit. So,
Franchise Wars.
Franchise Wars, that's her name. Chris, I give you the playing field.
I feel like I go first all the time, but
Well, your idea is
yeah.
considerably more fleshed out than mine. So,
yeah, we haven't really told each other what the full extent of our
I've
ideas.
told you the full extent of my idea.
Okay. But yes, mine is... I've got pages, I think. Anyway, so I was looking at some Carrie respect threads because, as I said, the movie really had an impact on me, I think. It wasn't the only Stephen King movie I saw. I also saw Cat's Eye, which was incredible.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty solid movie. I would recommend that. The whole idea of the cat linking everything together doesn't really go anywhere, but
it doesn't really work because the first two stories have no impact on the cat story at the end.
But those three stories individually are really solid.
And somehow a cat as a lead in a movie
it worked
really well. Like,
and it's not like Goofy, like they animate it and have it talk or anything. It's just a cat.
Yeah.
There's nothing particularly special about it, but yes.
I'd like to say the cat was a great actor, but there was probably three of them.
Yeah, and they're
all
just
they did
kind of
was
being cats.
run around.
Yeah.
I felt like I'd watched a movie with, like, Kevin Spacey in the lead,
I mean, there is a movie in which Kevin Spacey turns into a cat.
I don't want to know.
The less said about that, the better. Anyway, Franchise Wars.
Yes. So I was reading about Carrie's abilities. She's telekinetic, pyrokinetic, she's welded a door shut, ignited things, geokinetic.
Geokinetic.
Geokinetic, it's called, according to this Reddit respect thread.
Yeah.
So she summoned a meteor shower on her home in multiple adaptations, but not the actual book. And she's also able to cause, like, earthquakes and breaking the earth. I don't know. It's just a box of random powers, and she also is kind of telepathic because she could tell that the girl was pregnant with a baby girl. And I don't know where that was going in the 2013 remake.
Who knows?
But it happened. So I was thinking, who's a good match for Carrie in a movie? And, I really wanted to pitch a Chronicle crossover because the guy in that, that would be a spectacular fight.
I assume you mean Dane DeHaan?
Dane DeHaan, who I hate, but the character was great.
Oh, I hate him, but he's really good, good in Chronicle.
Oh yeah, everyone's good in Chronicle. But I thought the best part, and the only good part actually, of The Dark Tower was Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah,
and
that's a fair assessment.
Even though he died, I want to see him come back. So he's got superhuman speed and accuracy, shape-shifting. He's like mostly into a giant bird, but sometimes into a different
Does he
man.
ever turn into a giant spider?
Transmutation, he can turn objects into things and men into things. I don't know. Telepathy, electric blasts, third eye to see anywhere in the present. I don't know how much of this is in the movie, but I've got a list here of just random abilities he has as a sorcerer. So, he's supposed to be the embodiment of evil. So the movie is, the tagline I feel would be something like, the devil girl versus the embodiment of evil.
Yeah.
And so, because both of my main characters died in their respective movies,
Well, Carrie's not dead. She's just Supermaning it.
Yeah, the last scene of Carrie 2013, she kind of came back from the grave. like by shattering it. I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, for this to work, I've got to like completely discard all the canon of the Dark Tower.
Go ahead.
Graphic novels and books. So I'm thinking, after they're both dead, it's two beings of immense power find themselves in the world between worlds, too powerful for death to hold them. So the sky and the land and the ocean almost become one here. There's nowhere to go because there's no life or death, so there's no structures, no waves, no plants, no weather, no land formations, no hunger, there's nothing. And so each are powerless to escape on their own, and many of their abilities are rendered completely useless because they don't really have any structured matter to manipulate. And both of them have some telepathy, so, you know, no one's more powerful than the other here, really.
Yeah.
So they feel the presence of someone else among them, who's implied to be the devil, but, you know, he's not shown or anything. And so they both feel the urgency to get away from this place. From this presence, Carrie's fear. She gives into it and agrees to this offer that the man in black has put forward, that she, like, sell her soul to necromancy or something so that he can revive him because he's a necromancer. And then she can, like, revive him somehow with her soul, and I don't know. Something that a better writer than me can write. And so Carrie wakes up in her grave screaming. Cue the final scene of the 2013 movie.
Yeah.
And as the cemetery starts to crumble and quake, Carrie flies into the air, born anew. Like if the image of a girl in a blood-covered prom dress murdering her entire school wasn't haunting, try an undead, rotting girl rising from her grave screaming as the ground beneath her, like, shifts to avoid her. So as she's rising from the grave, her old gym teacher, the teacher who was kind of nice to her and survived and is probably in an asylum or something, falls to the floor, like, overcome with fear because she can sense it. And so Carrie goes off to clean herself up because she's rotting. And someone recognizes her because of all the news coverage she got. Triggering kind of a Carrie too, you know, an event happens.
Yeah.
And so the small town she lives in, who is probably Maine, you know.
Probably somewhere in Maine. There's a small chance.
Yeah. Stephen King, all of his books are set in Maine, basically.
All of them. There's a good number of them.
So yeah, Maine, the town in Maine, you know, they've had 2 Carrie incidents. They're all leaving. So yeah, Carrie manages to, like, stake out some random person's house and live in solace for a little while. And so she's, like, weighing up whether to actually raise the man in black, because he's a very dangerous man. And she, like, got to know that in the time in the purgatory or whatever. And she's also thinking about the boy who took her to the prom, Baby Driver, played by
Ansel Elgort.
Ansel Elgort. That took a long time to learn.
What
a name.
Yeah, his parents must have hated him.
He was great in Carrie, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's thinking about him and whether she wants to bring him back. But would he want to be alive in this post-Carrie world? And like, hear about the incident. So she decides to rescue this boy, and not the man in black. But because of the soul transfer or whatever happens, the man in black comes back. Has to fight his way back.
Oh. I was thinking he would come back as Ansel, like, in his body.
Oh, that would be great, but not quite. and he's pissed that he had to fight his way back
Understandably.
after the deal. And so this guy, that Ansel, is a nervous wreck and like not even slightly comfortable with any part of this situation, obviously.
Being Ted will do that to you.
And so Carrie like gets angry and like confused and emotional and starts like actually hurting him a little bit with her powers. And so she's like, oh, leave. And you've got this thing that's in every movie about a boy and a girl where, you know, it's like, oh, I want him, but I don't want him.
Yeah.
So he's scared off. He doesn't leave town because he trusts Carrie to not kill him. But, you know, he's not going to stay with Carrie or anything.
Yep.
Cue the Man in Black's arrival. And so he knows what she's done, revives someone else instead. And he confronts Carrie, and she tries to be left alone and ignore him, like, I don't want to be a part of this. So in the middle of the night, he takes Ansel to her house and kills him at the foot of her bed.
Re-kills him?
Yeah, re-kills him at the foot of her bed. And like the bed she's sleeping in as he dies. So cue Carrie's Bloodlust again, triggering a battle between two of King's most powerful entities that spans an entire and almost abandoned, luckily, town because of the destruction they can wreak. So, you know, you can have, like, big things like Power Rangers or whatever. I would invite Michael Bay to just go wild with those two. And at the end of the movie, I haven't written anything else in between, realizing that she'll never be able to stay dead, the Man in Black uses her power against her somehow to have her buried so deep underground that she won't ever be able to get out. Because that sounds like such a horror ending to me. Or at least she won't be able to get out until it becomes convenient to the Stephen King cinematic universe. But he realizes that because of this soul necromancy thing that happened, their souls are bound, and so they're both suffering this eternal fate, or something like that.
Yeah.
So neither of them are free to walk the earth. They're both still alive. You've got your setup for the rest of the universe.
Yeah. So what does he do at the end?
I don't know. I don't have the details for this necromancy soul merger thing. I just knew that some trashy writer could write some bullshit that works. So
that's fair enough.
I figure that the ending can be left to this trashy writer as well.
Fair enough. I like the fact that you've kind of tied it into the end of the Carrie film. I thought that was pretty good. It does sound very much like the climax of a DC movie turned into a feature film, which, if done well, could be good. I feel like you've got more to it than just people punching each other through buildings.
Yeah, I really wanted to get into the horror with my idea.
But I like the idea of them being bound together. I think that could make for maybe, like, you know, if they hurt each other, like, it shows up. I don't know. But yeah, that could be interesting. That's certainly considerably more than mine, which consists of one sentence. The Losers Club, who are the Stranger Things kids from It, are in the mall from The Mist.
Great.
That's my idea. So instead of having adults dealing with the situation, it's like 7 kids trying to deal with the creepy critters that are trying to get in and eat them.
So, having not seen the new It, or any It, what's with these kids? They're just losers?
They're the stranger. They called themselves the Losers Club because that's what the bullies call them. They go, oh, you're such losers. So they're like, hey, we're the Losers Club.
That's wonderful.
It is pretty wonderful. Basically, they got a whole bunch of different personalities. Like it's Stranger Things. It's just Stranger Things, but there's mist outside, and there's a whole bunch of weird creatures trying to eat them.
Cool. Well, I mean...
Clearly, I put very little thought into this. But yeah, maybe Derry, Maine. Is in Maine. That's the town they live in. Maybe the mist shows up there. They get trapped. Maybe they have to team up with Pennywise to fight the weird creatures.
No, don't do that.
Don't do that. That's a bad idea. Don't team up with that clown. But yeah, that's...
See, it works in superhero stories with, like, the villains, but I feel like a horror creature is terrifying as Pennywise.
I mean, he's literally evil given form, essentially. So
that's what Stephen King said about the Man in Black.
Yeah. But I think the idea of... Because they fought Pennywise, who is a malicious creature. He's there to hurt people. So I think putting them in a situation where you've got the weird creatures, but they're not inherently evil. They're just animals.
Yeah.
Which I think is what made The Mist really good, is that, you know, it could have been them trapped in a mall with a bunch of real animals outside. Although that would have been considerably stranger, because why are all the animals getting together, whatever. So it couldn't be that. But yeah, the idea of that there's these creatures from a different universe that are just doing their thing. They're not out there to get the people inside. So I think the idea of putting kids up against a horde of, you know, man-eating spiders.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have anywhere near the horror of the entire scene with the tentacle from the movie, where
no,
where you've got the tentacle dragging.
But you could have different.
Yeah, but then the axe happening and you know, it was an horrifying scene because it started off they were winning and then at the very end they lost. And
I feel like there's not really much that the kids can do to fight against the mist creatures.
The Mist is a movie about people being trapped indoors.
But I feel like, you know, if they get out, they're going to try and escape. Maybe they don't all kill each other, because, I mean, the ending to The Mist is dark enough, and it's not all children. When a bunch of 12-year-olds shoot each other, it's pretty heavy stuff you're getting into now.
Well, I mean, how did the original book end?
The first, they all, I mean, that's one thing, but, you know, I'm talking about the movie. This is from the movie where they don't have a child orgy. Thank goodness. Because I didn't know, and I knew it happened in the book, and people were saying it's really like the book, and I was just sitting there in the cinema waiting. I was like, this is going to be really weird. This is going to be strange. Thank goodness it did not happen.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. But yeah, that's my half-assed idea.
Yeah, well, I think I've already asked my questions, and I don't think you could answer anymore.
No. No, I don't think I did leave this till, like, the last minute. I thought, hey, that's a pretty cool idea. I'll try and flesh it out. And then I thought to myself, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Where do I go with it? So it's a bunch of kids fighting a bunch of monsters.
Yep.
That's it.
I mean, it worked for Stranger Things.
Yep.
Set it in the 80s and you've got a hit.
Yep. That's it.
So, yeah, that basically brings our podcast to a close.
It does.
What have you been watching recently, Eamon?
I've been watching many things. I've been sick, so I've just been binge-watching movies. That's how I got all those Stephen King movies out. But yeah, I went to see The Hitman Bodyguard on your pseudo-recommendation.
Yeah, I recommended it, but then I said, but also
it's also kind of crap.
Yeah. It's incredible. The writing is fantastically funny. But then the visuals...
Yeah, it was a strange looking movie. Like, some parts were really bright. There was some... I think the worst green screen wasn't that scene that you mentioned in your review, but was when they're on the ferry.
I think I might have been in the toilet for that part.
But yeah, that was like...
the single worst, like, effect was the men falling off the building.
What, Gary Oldman at the end there?
Hey, I wasn't going to spoil that.
Oh, it's not like he was going to win. It's kind of obvious. But no, that reminded me of the original RoboCop when the guy falls off the building and it looks awful.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, it reminded me of that.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. I would not go see that movie again. I would not watch that movie again.
See, I'm tempted to say that part was intentionally bad, but They didn't make a joke about it,
Yeah,
and the
like-
rest of the visuals were awful as well. There was a
But, like,
CG
even-
helicopter.
Like, the explosions just looked like stock explosions.
Yeah.
Like, they got that really thick volumetric smoke, and it's kind of like, why? But yeah, I feel like that movie was trying a bit too hard.
I feel like it wasn't in the hands of the right studio or something.
I think it was in the hands of the director of the third Expendables film, that's
also
more
true.
than enough for me.
But yeah, there was some fantastic action, but the camera work with the action...
I mean, it wasn't the worst I've seen.
No, it was
It
just
wasn't
standard.
Liam
It
Neeson
was
crossing
just...
a fence. But yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah. After...
Jackson and Reynolds, on point. They were great.
They were the best part of the film.
Easily. I mean, when you talk about people stealing the show, like, they killed it.
Yeah.
I feel like a sequel could happen. And I would probably go watch it just for them.
A sequel might be better if they can...
I don't think a sequel will happen. I think this film has gotten bad reviews and it's not making a whole lot of money. So
Yeah. But I feel like should a sequel happen, I feel like it could actually be better because of the bad parts of this movie.
They might learn from it.
Yeah.
Or cut out the effects, like have a less effects driven movie, something more like John Wick, but a comedy.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the biggest problem with the action. John Wick and Kingsman. We've been spoiled by some fantastic, like, incredibly thought out action sequences and cinematography and everything.
It's true.
And so...
I mean, we've kind of had a little bit of a mini action renaissance.
Yeah. Speaking of Renaissance, I saw Moana the other day as well.
Yeah.
Which is... I feel like Disney's also having another Disney Renaissance with Wreck-It Ralph and Frozen and Zootopia.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed Moana. I'd probably watch it again.
I can't say I was a fan of The Rock singing, but what can I say? You're welcome. No, his singing was awful. They used to just dub over the voices of people singing, like in The Lion King, Scar has a song and they just got some other guy to sing it because Jeremy Irons couldn't sing. They should just go back to doing that because, like, The Rock singing is awful.
I don't think it's as awful as everyone says. Anyway,
It's pretty bad.
This isn't the Moana podcast.
No, I don't think we're ever going to do a Moana podcast.
This is the Over podcast.
Yes, this podcast is over. Worth mentioning, this week we've got Mother, the Darren Aronofsky's new thriller, which
Jennifer
looks
Lawrence.
interesting. Yeah. American Assassin with Michael Keaton and some other people.
That's the one, yeah.
The Emoji Movie. If people really want me to go see that, I'll go see it. But, it's been out for months in the US, so I don't really see the point. Also, I don't want to suffer. And Captain Underpants, same thing applies. I don't really want to go see that. My brother had a book, which had it was like a plastic book, which had all the Captain Underpants books inside it. When you opened it, it made like a tra-la-la, but it was in like farts. And you used to just walk around the house opening and closing this book, making this sound. I can't do it.
Well, that is awful.
It is awful.
I've read a couple of the books.
Yeah?
They're pretty awful.
Yeah.
The cartoons are fun to look at, I guess. So I'm
So that was the one with the flip
yeah,
pages?
they had that often.
Yeah, it was weird.
So I might be convinced more to watch it, but no.
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 I'll probably go see I think we're going to go see American Assassin
Tonight,
so expect a review for that soon, and I will go check out Mother probably next week. So that we can keep this going. Also next week, stay tuned for Kingsman
2.
And whatever podcast we do then.
Yeah.
We don't really have a plan for next week, so...
Well, in that case, tune in next week